Thank you, Velmore. Oh my God. If it wasn't for women, I don't know where I would be. Let's start this all over. Hello, folks. Oh, I'm John Zidar. I've been working all day. Penny boys, I just said this. I trade from bell to bell, folks. We are over there scalping every day at Penny Boys, and I just finished, just at the bell. And here I am with you doing some more. It's okay. Good thing I like trading stocks. So I was saying hello to everybody over here. Oh, God, I really do need Taylor, don't I? The door is open. She can come anytime she wants. My loyal gang is here, always here. I can count on Velmore and the underdog. MBS seems to be a new loyal fan base for me. I appreciate you, MBS. Velmore got in, or Kashera got in there. We got your ticker as well. Ravi, great to have you. Tinky Pink Dot USA. I love these names. Half of them I can't pronounce, but boy, they are creative. Hello, David. Good to see you. Fadi Kasim, MH. Look at them pouring in. Great to have you, folks. You're here just in time because I got my volume on now. So next accomplishment is to click the video button so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's give that a shot right now. I've got some tickers all lined up to share with you. Nobody screaming at me. Hello, Saeed. Good to see you, buddy. Yes, speaking of QBTS, MH, I do have QBTS as one of the stocks I'm in, and I've got a chart up right now, and because it is aftermarket hours, I'm expecting the quantum stocks to start getting hot again. RGTI, QUBT, QBTS, maybe WIMI. There's about 7 or 8 of them right now that are still cheap enough. We don't be needing to look at NVIDIA or Microsoft or IBM. There's a lot of stocks down here, probably under $25, but they're getting far few and in between. So if you really want to get into quantum, you better start looking at it now. So as I was saying, if I see a jump on QBTS, I don't care if we're in a live stream or not. I'm going to go sell it. I do have that order set up, so I can just jump over there and do it. All right, let's get this ball game running. This was a hot stock. A lot of people have been talking about it. I think 3 of you mentioned it over there in the comments. We were playing this today over at Penny Boys, of course. Let's see what information we've got for this. SMX came by way of Velmore. Thank you. We do have fresh news out. They've got a new product out, ID coding. We're going to talk about that. And they've got a problem with their minimum bid price requirement. All right. So SMX, this is SMX Public Limited Company. Finished today at about 33.5 cents. She was up, wow, over 50%. She's like at 54% right now. She's a hot penny stock on the major exchange, which means you don't have to pay for any of your transactions like you do on the OTC. You get to trade at pre-market and aftermarket, which you never get to do with OTC. There's a lot more volume and a lot more money on the major exchange. It just makes sense to be trading up there. And there's a lot more rules. It's safer for us. So this company is out of Dublin, Ireland. So this is a foreign company. So when you go looking for their financials, you're not going to be looking for a 10K. You're going to be looking for a 20F. So let's see what I've got for this company. We got lots of news. Holy cow. All right, I've gone back here to October, and I'm only going to headline this. I've got a couple pieces we'll look at, but we're going to headline most of it because of time contingencies here. The company and Fingo entered into a collaboration to develop a joint physical to digital platform to service and enhance the natural rubber industry. The company is out there to solve the first mile challenge for the global supply chain. We always hear about the last mile. This is a company working with the first mile. I'm not quite sure what that is. Then we've got another collaboration here with Fingo to develop a joint physical to digital platform to enhance the mining industry. And the company deals with marking things, protecting products from counterfeit, making sure that what you're getting is legitimate, hasn't been tampered with, and they've got a lot of different products now. I don't understand all the technology that they're working with, but it is what we need. It's not just for counterfeiting, it's for tracking so that you can see where products come from, where it's gone, where it's going. Another piece of news here, True Gold. empowering the gold industry to new levels of transparency and verification that is both tangible and digital. I do believe this was about the last place we were at when we looked at this the last time. They were marking gold in some sort of way. SMX and Ibera Capital announced heads of agreement setting stage for merger of companies. The two companies are going to be merging. I think they've actually completed it. The company is combining assets of the two companies, adding the once missing link to Brazil's manufacturing evolution chain. So they obviously have a manufacturing facility over in Brazil that had problems, and this is going to solve that problem. Don't know what it is. You're going to have to do your own due diligence there. Then we've got the NASDAQ listing delinquency notice, which we're going to tackle. And then we've got the most recent piece of news. The company integrates its proprietary coding and digital platform technology for NFC and RFID chip markings and protection. So diving into these pieces of news just to get some, the merger between Ibera Capital and the company is set to close the first half of 2025. This sets forth a strategic framework expected to position the company to leverage synergies and expand into untapped high-growth markets. The company has got a problem with their minimum bid price. If you're under $1 for too long in a major exchange, they'll slap you. And they tell you, you've got normally it's 6 months to get that price up over $1. Now, I don't know why they tell the company that, because there's nothing the company can do. We, the investors, have to bid that price over $1 for 10 consecutive days. It has to close over $1. It can dip under $1, but at the end of the day, it has to be over $1. Once they close 10 days in a row, they're out of hot water. No problem. However, they don't get their 6 months. No, they've got a standing rule on the major exchange. I'll just read this. The company is not eligible for any compliance period specified by their rules due to the fact that the company affected one or more reverse stock splits over a 2-year period with a cumulative ratio of 250 shares or more to 1. So I don't know all the details, but they've had 1 or 2 reverse stock splits that have accumulated over 250 shares. They don't get 6 months. We have to bid this price up fast, or what's going to happen? They're going down to the OTC. There is nothing the company can do to save themselves. The price has to get up over $1, and they are helpless to do anything about that. So all they can do right now is buy some time so that we can bid it up. So they've got to appeal this. When they put in a filing for appeal, it's supposed to give them 30 to 45 days of a stay of execution. Nothing can happen to the company during that time. Hopefully, that buys us enough time to get it up. Hopefully they put out some news, some sort of catalyst to get this thing running. That's what we need. I got more here. What the heck else I got? Yeah, the new news. I lost my highlights. That's okay. The company is proud to announce the groundbreaking integration of its cutting-edge technology to mark and protect NFC and RFID chips. We're talking about chips that go into computers and equipment and stuff like that. This innovation solution is being designed to offer unparalleled security, traceability, and durability, and is set a new standard in electronic component protection. The company has successfully embedded its unique markers directly into the coding of a readily available off-the-shelf NFC and RFID chips. The proprietary coding not only works with off-the-shelf chips, but also has been shown in testings to enhance their durability and performance, expanding their lifespan, and their reliability has increased their resilience to heat. So not only do they have some secret ingredient in this coating that they can see, but it's giving extra benefits to the chips for durability. The other thing is it's flexible. So they believe that they're going to be able to use this on a lot of flexible technology, these wearable things that we are getting on the markets now. And then the last piece of information, God almighty. Yes, somebody asked me, I don't know where it was, maybe on Penny Boys, I get questions everywhere. What was the outstanding share count on this stock? We're going to see it over on the OTC. It says it's under 1 million. And I always post that. If it's less than 25 million, I post that. It's a low float. Well, I was having a hard time finding this because in the financials, they don't lay them out the same way. You can't find the information as easy. So I had to really search. But here it is. Right here, they tell us that the ordinary shares authorized, they've got just under 500 million shares authorized. That's how many are in the bank, and they could put on the market if they wanted to, or they could use them as currency to do deals with other companies. Right now, though, issued and outstanding, we have 610,000 shares. That's it, folks. Less than 1 million shares. Now, the fact of the matter is that too is out of compliance. There is a minimum criteria on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ that you cannot have a float less than 1.5 million shares. They have just created a new rule for companies doing reverse stock splits. That's how these companies ended up with under 1 million. They did a reverse stock split to get their price up over $1. And still, they come back down under $1, do another reverse stock split. Well, they don't have any shares. They couldn't do a reverse stock split if they wanted to. They are in hot water right now. The best thing we can hope for is that they do file an appeal. I have not seen it. That would buy us 30 to 45 days of a stay of execution. Outside of that, I don't see any way out of this. If we don't get the price up over $1, they're going down to the OTC, and that ain't going to be good. So what was the relative volume around the company today? She did over 3 times her normal volume, and her normal volume wasn't shy. She was doing about 50 million shares a day. Today, she did 170 million. Share structure for the company, I've already told you. Here they're telling us it's 554, but in either case, it's under 1.5 million. So they are in hot water there too. But of all the companies that have done this, I haven't seen one of them contacted by the NASDAQ to fix it. That they can fix easy. Just do a public offering. They got enough shares. They just throw more shares on the market and you fix that problem. But that's the worst thing for us. First, you took all of our shares, kicked up our average price way up, and then do a public offering and take shareholder value away even more? God. And a lot of companies are doing that. Financials for the company. Are they making any money? Oh, look at that market cap. That's what you get when you don't have any shares. A super duper small market cap, because the market cap is nothing but the shares outstanding times the price. When you don't have any shares and you don't have a big price, you don't get a big market cap, $120,000. Uh-oh, there we go. I have so many windows open. Sometimes my computer locks up on me. It doesn't look like we have any revenues coming in at all, at least on the annual basis. We got nothing coming in on the quarterly basis. They've got nothing, no revenues whatsoever. We got to add 3 zeros to any of the numbers they do have on these charts. So we got like 168,000 in the bank, 51 million in assets, and about 40 million in liabilities. So we are holding stockholder equity in the company, even though we don't have any profit, we don't have any revenues, we're not holding a bag. She has got about $11.5 million in stockholder equity. That's our money. Although we're going to lose that if she falls down to the OTC. I do believe I've covered all of these. Let's just check. This is probably going to be the news. Yeah, that's the news. And then all the rest of these, I was surprised. These 424B3s, every single one of them. Oh, look at that. They're going to issue 200,000 shares. What the heck is 200,000 shares going to fix? That doesn't even give them over 1 million. So they got some shares here. There is the announcement from NASDAQ that they're delinquent. So is this one. NASDAQ notice of delinquency. All of these are. Every single one of these. I don't know why they gave them so many. They're bloody serious about it is what they are. All right, that's my 15 minutes. Let's go look at the chart. Let's make sure I got the ticker SMX. All right, QBTS, I told you, she's set up. Even over here, I got an order set up. I'm parceling it out. I sell a little. As she climbs, I sell chunks at a time. I don't sell 100% on a hot stock. You never know how high it's going to go. So let's drop in SMX here. SMX, that's a 1 minute. Let's fly on back to a year. Wow. Well, you can see by our 200-day MA here, she was way higher. That could be 3-5 years ago. I'm not going to go check. Oh, heck. Now, for some reason, they're not showing the reverse stock splits. Normally, I get purple bubbles down here. I don't see any purple bubbles, but we know they've had them. We also know they've had them because of this price. I'm not buying that their high was $68. I'm just not buying it. So if that high isn't real, why is it there? Because when they do a reverse stock split, they used to just multiply the shares forward from that stock split. If the price was $1 and they did it 1 in 10, the price goes up to $10. So if they did a reverse stock split here, we would normally see a big green bar where the price was kicked up to $10, right? Well, they don't do that anymore. Now they just multiply the whole chart times 10. So 2 years ago, the price may have been $1. 2 years ago, it says it was $10 high that day, and it never was, which is a real sad shame because people who come into trading later on are going to have no clue. They're going to come look at this chart and say, oh my God, this was at $68 a year ago. I'm getting into this. It's misleading. I think we ought to sue these people. I don't know if it's the SEC or FINRA who does it, but they do it to all the charts. It's false information, fake news. We shouldn't have to put up with it. So we really can't read a whole lot here. We got a high of 68. Bah humbug, ain't believing that. And a low of 18 cents. I'll buy that one. So let's bring this down to 6 months. All right, we can see something now. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger for you. All right, so we've got a high now of $21. I don't know if that's right. I don't know when the reverse stock splits were, so I can't say the numbers are right, but the chart is right. The chart never changes, just the numbers. So we are in a downtrend. She was over the 200 here, and why was she over it? Because it's flat. It's flat. If it's flat or climbing, your price can get up over top. But if it is falling, don't even think about a breakout. If she tries to get up on top and stay there, she's going to trip and fall and come down lower than where she started from. So you got to wait until it goes flat. She's gone back into a downtrend here, and I'm going to get rid of all these lines so you can see what we're looking at. Those are my SNRs, so we could trade this stock. As you can see, we had a big drop here. Huge drop from $2.19 down to 32 cents. And she dribbled downhill, missing our breakout. She did not want to take any of this. There's our 50-day, finally went flat, did not jump. She hit a low of 18 cents here. Here comes our 200, starting to get close. We see a little bit of pushing up towards it, showing us some excitement, wanting to climb. This was scary. She started pulling away. As soon as it got close, she started ducking underneath it. I didn't like that. And then we took a jump. Look what's going on. Our 200 is flat. Flat, flat, flat. This is when she broke out, folks. She jumped immediately to and through that 200. Looks like it was mostly pre-market, going from 20 cents up to 44 cents. Woo, over 100% gain pre-market. Came back down to our 20. Landed on that solid, bounced up, landed on our 200 haul up here. She is stair-stepping up onto each MA. This is really looking good. Our MAs, our PPO just had a crossover and got on top. That's a lot like our MACD. You want to see the blue line on the top climbing. The PPO is your percentage price oscillator, uses a percentage of the price. MACD uses the whole price. Our ADX, one of my favorite oscillators now. That green line, if it's on the top, says it's an uptrend. If the red line is on the top, it's a downtrend. And this yellow line tells you how strong that trend on top is. So this is telling me that my trend is getting stronger. Which one? The uptrend. So this is looking nice. MACD is climbing. RSI is falling a little bit right now. 20-day 1 hour. There's your jump from underneath. She was flat as a pancake. Had a nice jump there going from 20 cents to 76 cents. Egads, 350% run. Came back down to the 200, meandered around, and now she's settling just on top of the 200. Going sideways, but all of our MAs are starting to push up. All of our oscillators are pushing up, except our MACD. That's kind of flat, and our RSI. So we've got heat. It's like medium-sized bubbles in the pot. It's not a full raging boil, but it ain't cool. I wouldn't put my hand in the pot. She is above the 200. Everything looks like she is still trying to climb. Coming down to our 5-day, 15-minute. Well, there you go. She was bouncing off of her 200 haul. She had that nice rip, came down again, hit the 200 haul with the 50, jumped. She's come back down. She's hitting it again. Our 200 haul and our 50. Chances are she's going to bounce, but our oscillators are all kind of pushing down right now. Our red line here is on the top, which means she is in a downtrend right now, but the downtrend is getting weaker. You can see it's falling. The yellow line tells us how strong, it's getting weaker, so she could easily bounce off of this. We need to get that green line to cross over the red line. We need that crossover. MACD is falling and our RSI is falling. But she's looking good, folks. She's got a lot of different technologies, but we don't have any revenues. We've got mergers coming. We've got assets coming, but we don't have any revenues. That's what we need. We need this company to get into revenues. But what we really need is for us to bid this price up over $1, or we're going to see it fall down to the OTC. All right, that's enough for SMX. Boy, that was a long one. Egads. Shoot. What'd that take? 22 minutes. Jiminy. All right, let me look at some comments here. Actually, it gives me a chance to get some of my caffeine, nicotine. Please hit the like, folks. Let's support the man. Amen, brother. Oh, well, sister, whatever. Hello, Matthew. Good to see you, buddy. Could you review KIT again? Nauticus Robotics. We'll see if we have time. At the rate I'm going, we may not have time. Hello, Mark. Good to see you, buddy. Oh, I love having all you folks here. No sound again. What do you mean no sound again, David? Can you guys hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up out there if you can hear me. Ah, come on. There's sound. All right, I'm going to presume there's sound, folks. I don't have anybody telling me there is, but I don't have anyone telling me there ain't. Okay. Thumbs up. Thank you, Velmore. You're so sweet to me. All right, let's jump into the next stock, folks. This one, let's see what we got. All right, this one will be quicker. We'll save some time on this one. We have a few people interested in this one too. OTLK, Outlook Therapeutics. I brought this to your attention a couple weeks ago. MBS is interested in it. I think Underdog actually requested it. This is a company that is a biotech. They have a drug that went through a phase 3 trial with the FDA, and it was a 12-week trial. And in the 8th week, they had a report come out that it didn't quite meet the specifications they were hoping for. It wasn't totally a failure. It did have results. It did help the people with their eyes, but it wasn't exactly what they were hoping for. And because of that, even though there was 4 weeks left on the news, the stock took a huge fall. But there was good news as well. And I presume people missed the good news. So I said this was going to be a good recovery. Now, it's taken a while to do it, but I still think it's going to recover because the other catalysts don't jump into effect until January of next year. So, people are getting a little antsy right now because it hasn't jumped yet. It's a swing. We're waiting for January. Anything else there about this one? Launching a new drug? Right. We'll get to that. So, OTLK, she finished today at $1.70. She was up almost 16% today. That was a 23-cent jump. She's a hot penny stock on the NASDAQ, and she's got no problem with her price. So it was this piece of news that came out January 27th that told us that the North 8 trial did not meet the pre-specified non-inferiority endpoint at week 8. However, the preliminary data from the trial demonstrated improvement in vision and the presence of biologic activity. The stock crashed really hard. The good news is right underneath it. However, Outlook Therapeutics plans to resubmit the BLA application for the drug first quarter of 2025. In addition to that, the company plans for a potential 2025 launch in the UK and Germany, where their Litneva drug has already received European Commission and MHR marketing authorization for treatment of wet AMD, which is a certain problem with eyes. So not only have they already passed all the trials over there in the UK and Germany, they're going on the market. They're going to start making money. And that's the big deal here, is that this company isn't making any money. They're becoming a commercialized company coming from research and development, where they spend. Now they're going to start making money and quit begging us for it. Then I also found this. I didn't know what to think about this, but I'll pass it off to you. They have cut their workforce down by 23%. Hoo-yah! That's going to save them some money. But that was only 5 employees. And they put out a filing for it. Yeah, it was only 5 employees, but they did cut their workforce down. So let's see what we've got here for relative volume for the company today. Way down. She's down like 2/3 of what she's been normally doing. She's been doing like 3.2 million shares over the last month, which isn't very much. Today, she did a lot less, about 1 million shares. Share structure for OTLK isn't bad. Outstanding share count is about 24 million. I don't know what the float is. I don't know what the insiders own. All we know is that your float can't be any higher than the outstanding share count. So it won't be any higher than 24 million, which I would be putting down as a low float if I was posting news right now. To me, anything under 100 million is decent. Anything under 25 million, to me, constitutes a low float. Although nowadays, with floats going under 1 million, I may have to readjust. Market cap for OTLK, we're at about 35 million. As I said, the company is not making any money yet. That is the big deal here. This is when biotechs surge. They normally get news when they have phase trials that do good. Pow, it'll really jump. And then it comes down just as fast as it went up, and it doesn't even stay up for a couple of days. And it'll be a long months or years before it bounces again to the next piece of news. But once you become commercialized, once you start making revenues, you start keeping your gains and you start climbing. That's what we're hoping for here. So what have we got on their balance sheet? We got 32 million in the bank, 47 million in assets. Oh, God. Well, they were an R&D company. They got a lot of liabilities, 130 million, which means we are still holding $83.5 million in deficit. That's not the company holding it. That's us holding it. Now, something I like to tell people, and it'll blow your mind, but there's a lot of different ways to figure out what the price of the stock should be. One of the ways to do it is to take all the shares, the outstanding, and divide it into your equity or your deficit. Well, if you take a number and divide it into a negative number, you end up with a negative number. So to have the price at $1.70, that's very speculative and very hopeful right now. So it's not a bad price for this company right now. And let's see under disclosures. Did I skip anything here? We got one that came out 10 days ago. Look, Therapeutics approved reduction in workforce. I already covered that. So we're not going to go through any of that. I'm sure I covered it. So let us take a look now at the chart for OTLK. I have not looked at this chart in a while, and I am interested to see what this looks like. All right, that's our 15-minute. That don't look bad, does it? Let's come back to our year. So she was going sideways. She had some bounces in there. She jumped here from about, that's a nice jump. It didn't look that big. From about $7.30 up to $12.85. So that was a nice jump, and it was pushing towards that 200. So you would think she's anxious to get on top of it. Well, look, once she started going flat here, this is where we should have had our breakout. If she was eager, she didn't. She tried to push up here without a whole lot of excitement, came back down, went back into a droop. Here comes our 200 falling again. Now, this is where she took that dive. This is when the 8-week news came out, and she fell from $5.08 down to 87 cents. Folks, you're talking over 80% fall for news that was just about the 8th week. What about week 1 through 7? What about week 9 through 12? This is overkill. That's what I'm thinking. Considering this drug is approved in 2 other countries, what are the chances it's going to be approved here? Probably real good, right? And they're going to be making money. So we are waiting for all of these MAs to get close to the price so that she can start to climb. The price is a kangaroo or a monkey. It needs stuff to jump on. It needs stuff to climb up. It just can't fly up there. That's not the way the price works. So we've got to wait for these MAs to come down to the price so it has somewhere to climb. Let's come on down to our 6-month, 4-hour. So she's in that downtrend. We had our fall. As she's been going sideways here, you can see that she has been making headway. I'm going to get rid of these lines. She has actually crossed the 20, the 200 haul. She was under the 50, and right now, she has just broke the 50. You can't see that. She has just now gotten on top of the 50, and this is a prime setup right now. We don't see a lot of heat built up here, so this could be real early, but on time. We've got our price sitting on top of the 50. That's the best place. But it is sitting in between two 200s, a falling 200 MA, which don't give a hoot about the price, and our 200 haul underneath, which has just started to climb. I have mine change colors when it starts to push up, because when it starts to climb, it helps the price to go to the 200 MA, not only to it, but through it. And I see right now, this just turned blue. This is just breaking out, and I'm expecting this to go up to here. Now, what is that? That's $1.60 up to $3.85. And I'm thinking it's going to go through. Now, it's not going to keep going when it goes through. It's going to burst through. It's going to need a lot of extra power to break that 200, and then it's going to come back down to the 200, maybe a little bit underneath it, but it's got to test that 200. I am going to watch this, folks. I am liking this setup perfectly. Let's look at our oscillators. Our MACD is climbing. It's hard to see. She is on top of that pink line and pushing up. Our ADX is looking nice. Our green line is way up at the top. Very strong. That's telling me my uptrend is growing right now. Here is my strength telling me about the uptrend. Now, if the red was up, it'd be telling me about the downtrend, but it is the uptrend on the top of the board right now, above the red line. This is weak, coming into power. As this yellow line starts to climb, that price is going to start to push faster and faster. I'm telling you, folks, I think this is going to break out. Take a look at our MACD. We just had a crossover. Green bars are accumulating, each one getting bigger and bigger. RSI is just approaching the overbought right now. Everything looks steamy, folks. It's getting warm in here. 20-day, 1 hour, going sideways, doing nothing. This is when everybody got worried about it. Why didn't it break out? Very good question. But she's doing it now. Everything is starting to climb, floating on our 9-day MA. The bars are staying nice even. We don't want these bars to get too big. If the price gets too far away from the 9, she's got to come back down to it. And if she has too much velocity and speed, she could break that cracker. It's only 9 days and come down to the 20 or something. She's going to need something stronger to hold her up. Right now, that is beautiful. All of our oscillators are climbing. Every single one of them, and we are in the overbought right now. This is looking very good, folks. If you've been antsy about this stock, time to consider it a buy. If you're not in it, now would be a good time to get in it. I would consider getting into it right now, even though she started climbing. This could be a good surge we're going to be looking at. Sideways activity, hanging on to that 200, which is good. That's 200-day average price. So she's hanging on to her average price. No problem. Now she's feeling gutsy and she's starting to run. We hit a high today, just at the end of the day, of $1.71. All of our MAs are climbing, evenly spaced, nice, no pressure here. All of our MAs are climbing, looking really good, folks. OTLK, it belongs in our watch list right now, folks. This thing looks like it is ready to break out this week, maybe tomorrow. God, I need to breathe. Let's see here. What the hell? Why my chat been deleted? Wasn't me, brother. I don't have time to even read these chats, let alone delete them. Congress buying these stocks. I thought they made a law that Congress couldn't, or are they still passing that? I would like to see that passed. I don't think that our government officials should have any right in the stock market. They're getting rich. You know, Trump can't even run his business when he becomes a president. You're not allowed to do that. You can't do any of that extracurricular activity to make money when you are holding office. So I'd like to see that happen. It's much better than doing a super chat here. Hey, what's wrong with super chats? I got a super chat down there. Shout out. It's a tip jar, folks. If you want to give me any money, that's totally on you. If I give you anything that's worthwhile, if you're actually making money off of me, I got no problem taking tips. I used to be a waiter. All right, folks, let's go take a look at another stock. What time is she? 4:36. Is that it? I did get through OTLK pretty quick. All right, let's see what we got next. Phil. We haven't looked at Phil in a very long time. I mean, a long time. God, it's been a couple years since I've looked at Phil. And the sad part about it is I own it. Yes, I do. This is one of the stocks I got into years ago when they said they were going to rebuild the free trade zone over in Vietnam. And they had so many investors on board that were bringing in billions of dollars. Now, I'm not quite sure what the free trade zone was, but it was an area that was set aside for development. They were bringing in everything: sewage, water, electricity, roads. I mean, that's how virgin this territory was. And then it just started weaning away and weaning away. They had a name for it. I think we're going to see it in a financial, because it looked to me like it was totally abandoned. And at the very last second, the last piece of information I looked at brought it back up. So let's take a look at Phil. Ticker PHIL, the PHI Group. This is out of California, Huntington Beach. She's super cheap, folks. She's down there at 0005. Now, I normally won't even look at a stock until it hits 0005. 000 stocks don't move quick. They don't move fast. And as a day trader, they just don't catch my attention. These stocks are very cheap. You can get lots and lots of them for very little money. At this price right now, you can get 200,000 shares for $100. Lots of people like to buy it at 0001. If you can get it, that's 1 million shares for $100. You can get 500,000 at 0002. So if you can get that many shares, great, but you're going to end up holding the stock normally for a very long time. And here's the problem. When the stock starts to rise and gets up into the 00 area, if you got it at 000, you better sell by 00. That's 1,000% gain. Sell something, for God's sake, because once it starts getting exciting and starts to move in the 00 zone and approaching the penny, you can expect a reverse stock split. We're getting these not just from OTC stocks, but from NASDAQ stocks too. When stocks have had no attention and all of a sudden people are looking at them, that's when they throw all these extra shares on the market. So, Phil, I could read this, but this is really ancient, and so I'm just not going to waste your time with that. Let's jump into the news. We got lots of news back from 2018, 2019, which is probably what I'm thinking about. There was no news since 2019 till November of this year. Come on. Really? That is too long not to be talking to people invested in your company. Me. That's why I haven't looked at this in so long. They're not saying nothing. So what did they say with this? Well, this is the interesting part. There's no news here about a deal, buying IP, intellectual property. There's no news here about them making a deal with another company that has a product, because they're doing something completely different here. Let me show you. PHI Global signs an agreement to provide pure geomagnetic energy solutions to improve energy efficiency, eliminate greenhouse gas emissions, and help meet Malaysia's new renewable energy target. What? PHI Group has made a deal with Coastal Eco. They are out of Malaysia. They have signed a memorandum of understanding to grant KEI, the company they're doing this deal with, a non-exclusive right. They're going to make deals with other companies to sell and distribute the geomagnetic energy products manufactured, produced, or sold by PHI Global Energy in Malaysia. This is a multi-impulse energy system. What? I have no idea where this came from. This is not dependent on weather conditions, does not require much land or water surface, no need for large space, easy to transport, electromagnetic compatibility with living organisms and humans, no harmful effects to animals, livestock, pets, or vegetation, no waste or greenhouse gas emissions, no heat is put off, no noise, easy know-how protection with quantum encryptions, easy to set up virtual power plants using proprietary modules to coordinate output synchronously. Now check this part out. Easy to establish wireless power transmission systems with huge capacities without heat loss at close range. Suitable setup for two-way recharging for electric cars. How about that? You wouldn't have to plug in your car. Just park the car next to it and it would charge automatically. I need to do some more research here, and this is a very long news press. And I didn't have time to read it all because I was over at Penny Boys trading with everybody while I was doing my research for you guys. So there is something to be taking a look at. I wish I knew more to tell you. I just don't. It's just pretty exciting to me. And then I found one filing on December 2nd. The company signed an asset manage agreement to manage. The company they signed with is going to manage a total principal amount for the company of $90 million. The company intends to allocate a large portion of the investment funds towards the initial budget for the development and establishment, there it is, the Asia Diamond Exchange. That's what it was. From 2018, the Asia Diamond Exchange is just that. It is an exchange where they're going to be selling stuff on the market. And I don't know if it's diamonds or not. I really can't remember. And the International Financial Center in Vietnam, and for the commercialization of geomagnetic energy programs under Philex Global. The company expects to have partial closings before Christmas, okay, and the balance halfway through January. So we've got things going on right now. I don't have all the answers. It sounds really interesting. They're talking quantum equations in this new energy thing they got that works wirelessly. I need to do some more due diligence. However, folks, I'm going to put this warning out there again. Pinks are the most dangerous stocks that you can invest in. The reason for that, they are on the bottom tier of the OTC for a reason, because they have no validated information. There are no filings with the company. There are no financials. Yeah, they got disclosures. These are just tallies like I would do. I give you all my receipts at the end of the month and say, there you go. That doesn't tell you anything. The only thing we ever get with Pinks are two green ticks over here, a transfer agent verified and a verified profile. And that is done by the OTC markets. All we've got is the one. The news presses are what make the stocks run. I lost over $40,000, folks, when I first started trading because I was trading OTC penny stocks, and the Pinks had the best news in the world, like this new fangled product they've got. Oh my God, I'm excited. Yeah, don't trust it. I'm not saying they're lying, but take it with a grain of salt. If you're going to get into the stock, get into it for a short play. Do not invest in Pinks. That's my own personal opinion, folks. Too many of these companies put out hot news that doesn't pan out a month, 2, 3 months from now. Then they break the deal. There's no follow through, and you end up holding a bag waiting for the eventual nothing. I'm not saying Phil's doing that, but I've been holding her for 4 or 5 years, and she ain't done squat with those billions of dollars to rebuild Vietnam. All right, let's see what we've got going here. Do I have any more information? I did have one more. No, that's everything. So let's see the relative volume. God almighty. I'm telling you, folks, hot news is what get Pinks running. She went from 85 million shares a day over the last 30 days to 540 million shares today. Now, keep in mind, $100 is buying you 200,000 shares. So $400 is a million shares. So you pile up shares pretty bloody quick at these prices. Share structure for Phil. What? Okay, they have got 46, let's call it 47 billion shares on the market. God. And they have 6.1 billion that they're holding. They actually have all those. We get all the rest, 40 billion. Now, the good news is, if the company does do a reverse stock split, and God knows they need to, they're going to get hit too. But they probably have so many shares that it isn't going to hurt them. That's what they do. They pile them up. But when they do a reverse stock split, they're going to get hit too. It's not like we're the only ones that get hit. Current market cap, even with all those shares at that itty bitty price, we still have only got $14 million. Financials for the company. Yeah, they're making some money. We got to put 3 zeros behind these. So at the end of June 2024, they had $5,000. Now, I don't know where that money came from. It didn't cost them anything. Could be them just talking to people, giving advice out, royalties for something. I don't know. But they're not getting a whole lot of money. and they're making even less. They got nothing in the last quarter. Balance sheet for the company. Ooh, that ain't looking good, is it? Cash and cash equivalents, nothing in the bank. Absolutely nothing. $66,000 in assets. Look at the liabilities. $10.5 million and $66,000 in assets. And that's probably a vehicle, and they've got nothing in the bank. Folks, I'm not liking this company. I don't care what their news is. It would be great for a fast play. If the chart has hot technicals, sure, I'd play it. I wouldn't even know what was going on with the company. I wouldn't know it was a pink. If I see a hot chart, I don't check what the company is. I don't check what the news is. I just play the technicals. So if this has a hot chart, sure, I'll play it. But to play the news, no, not interested. I'll read it. I'll see what it's about. But no, I'm not going to get in just because of the news. Disclosures. They ain't going to have nothing. We got a piece of news here. 10Q. So you're telling me this pink is actually filing 10Ks and 10Qs. They requested to be more transparent. We are getting audited financials from this company, which is really surprising. So you can dive into these 10Qs and you're going to get a lot more information than you would get from a disclosure. You'll get all the information from the day that they incorporated. So between 2019 and now, maybe they did have something. It would be in there. The best way to find it is just put in the dates in your search. 2020. 2021, 2022. See if anything comes up. You can find it a heck of a lot faster than scrolling. I'll just check out this 8K. It's probably the news. Company net worth manages a total. Yeah, that's that 90 million I was just telling you about. So let us go take a look at Phil. If she's got a hot chart, I'll be interested. Oh, Phil. Come out, come out. Oh, picket fence. You see that, folks? This is what you get with triple aught stocks, triple zeros. They just go up and down between two numbers because there's no middle ground. This is jumping between 0002 and 0003. Bing, 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 over and over and over again. That's 15 minutes. Let's go back a year. Lots of picket fences, lots of barcodes there. So you can see this is why I don't play her as a day trader. She just goes sideways for months at a time without really doing anything. Finally, though, you can see she was actually poking her head through this 200 as it was falling. And right now, she has finally broke out of it. Our oscillators, every single one of our oscillators are all climbing right now. And our ADX is very hot. There is no doubt about that. RSI is in the overbought. That's up there at about 75. Come on down to that 6 month. Not a whole lot of difference. A lot of barcoding. She is breaking out right now. We had, 2 weeks there of sideways activity. And then in one day, she jumped from 0002 up to 0005. That's giving you 150% profit. That's profit for you right there. Oscillators are still hot, but we see a pullback right there on our uptrend. So I'd watch this. She could pull back abruptly. That's what these triple aught stocks do a lot. Take a look at our 20-day 1 hour. Well, she's looking like a stock now, isn't she? She isn't doing this picket fence stuff anymore. Look at her sit on top of that 200 perfectly. But now she's climbing. She's acting like a stock. Now I'm interested. She's on top of her 9-day MA. She's bouncing on it. Beautiful. This is really looking good. Our ADX, we have a strong uptrend. It's above our red line. PPO is climbing. MACD is climbing. My RSI is climbing. Everything is looking good. Okay, I'm going to be putting this on my watch list. 5-day, 15-minute. So we back to our bars here, but we are still in the 000 zone. Now, I really don't expect a run, but you don't need a run, folks. She's so cheap. All you need is a pop. All you need for this thing to do is go up to 0008 or 0009 and you got yourself 50%, 75% gains. And that's all you need. Don't get greedy. And if you're going to get greedy, put a cap on your greed. Sell 50% of what you've got. You've got to get in the habit, folks, of selling on climbs. I know it feels like you're cheating yourself because you'll make more if you take it up. But if it falls with you holding everything, you're going to lose all of that. Put some money in your pocket. So even if you fall, you've still got money. Get in the habit of taking your gains, folks. This is the hardest thing to teach anybody. Sell as it's climbing. Don't wait for it to turn red to sell. All right, let me get back here. See what's going on. You guys talking to each other over here? Do you have patron of Smith? Good. I see that. Hello, John. You go over USAQ if you have time, please. I never even heard of that stock. The Q, does that mean it's in bankruptcy or is it part of the ticker? We'll have to look at that one. Lays is ripping. Good. I'm glad to hear that. We like to hear quantum is ripping. I see RGTI is climbing as well, but QBTS is frozen in time. All right, let's get this out of the way so we don't block anybody. I do believe I've got one more stock all set up here to look at. I do. Grillit. Oh, I forgot to check this out last time. Grillit came from Kashera. Just so you know, Phil came from MBS. Thank you, MBS. So Kashera brought us Grillit, who has multiple deals that we're going to look at in the news, but they are broke right now, financially. So let us take a look at Grillit, ticker GRLT. Oh, that's not exactly where I wanted to be. There we go. This is another U.S. company out of California. Finished today at 0006 with 25% down. That's the scary thing about these 000 stocks. They're so cheap, but if it just drops 1 point, you've just lost 20-25% of your investment. Just like that. It's really, really scary. You want to make sure these things are climbing when you get into them. This is on the Pink Limited, which is scary in itself. That means that she is late on one or more of her financials. And on the OTC, if you don't get those financials caught up in a certain amount of time, and they never let you know how much time that is, they'll just pull you off the market and throw you down to the expert. And when you're on the expert, the shares cannot be bought or sold. Now, truth is, if you're in the company, you are in that position with the company, but you can sell. You can't buy. But the stock right now is at 0006. If it went down to the expert market, the only people who could really be trading it, buying and selling, are marketers or brokers. And for some reason, they will pull that price down to 501. And then when the company gets all their financials caught up, when they come on the market, the price must go back up to 0001. And if it comes on at 0001, it'll normally jump back to wherever the price originally was. So if it's at 0006, goes to the expert market, goes down to quad or 5 zeros and a 1. When it comes back up, you could end up with a huge run. I called one of those 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I called the thing to pop for 17,000% gains. Swear to God, I got the video out there. The very next day, it went 86,000%. No kidding. And that's what you can just search, or is it 89? Could be 89,000%. So let's take a look at Grillit. Grillit is in the real estate development business. However, they're doing other things as well, which is always a little concerning to me. When you're dealing with a large sector like quantum computing or real estate or something like that, and then go doing some piddly stuff that just doesn't fit into it, I always wonder, why are you doing that? So the company announced back in August that the company announced back in August of 2022 that they had made an acquisition of Global A Brands. Now, why the heck am I reading that? Because in March of 2024, 2 years later, they tell us they're terminating that deal. Did you wait long enough to tell us? 2 years. So there's one deal, come and gone. Grillit Inc. and Whiskey Hill Smokehouse signed letter of intent for a joint venture agreement for natural pet food. This deal, they are still going through. They are going to be working with natural pet food. Though they work with real estate, they haven't closed the deal yet, but they are making progress on it. They got another deal. Grillit Inc. announces the signing of a letter of intent to merge with Premier. Premier Inc., they completed that merger, paving the way for an expansion into real estate and emerging technologies. So let's see what information we got here. Premier Inc., a premier private equity real estate investment firm, is proud to announce the successful completion of its merger with Grillit Inc. This $30 million transaction solidifies Premier's position as a key player in the real estate investment and development market while expanding its operational reach into new sectors, including tokenization and opportunity zones, whatever that is. This merger marks a pivotal moment for Premier, which now gains access through Grillit's established public platform. They're on the market now, with over $1.5 billion in assets under management and a legacy distributing over $502 million to global investors. Premier is set to lead the newly formed entity's strategic direction, focusing on sustainable growth and innovation and diversification. Now, they haven't mentioned the word change of control, but they did just say here that this new company is set to lead the new entity's strategic direction. So the new company is going to be led by Premier. So they are a real estate development company, also working with pet food. Last piece of information we got here. Anything extra here? The letter of intent outlines the key terms of the proposed merger. It is supposed to close late quarter 2024. That's old news. I just told you it's already closed. So let's go check out the relative volume for Grillit. Oh boy, she dropped, didn't she? All right, so she was at 00036. She is a shell risk. I didn't mention that. She's supposed to be making revenues. The shell risk means she's in business, but she's not reporting revenues. And that may not be the case. They have a new rule on the OTC market that if you make a deal, which they just did, with a company that has assets, when those assets come into your company, that is considered revenues. And if you're making revenues, you must be in business. So they just say you're a shell risk now. So they're not in business, but they do have assets. Their volume today dropped hard from 35 million down to 11 million. Jeez. Share structure, we got a lot. 3.8 billion outstanding. The insiders own about 22 million. We get all the rest. 3.8 billion shares. Be leery of a reverse stock split when this thing starts getting close to a penny. Taking a look at the financials, nothing at the end of 2023. Quarterly, we've got nothing on the books. No money. Broke, broke, broke. Just like I said, they've got nothing in the bank. They have no short-term investments, no money owed to them, no current assets, nothing at all. But they've got liabilities, 1.6 million. And who's holding it? We are. Where do you think that comes from? How about paychecks? You think the management is holding this company together for nothing? And if they're not getting any money from any products that they're selling and they've got no revenues, where's the only money they're getting? That is their paychecks. We're paying them, folks. I hate seeing that. So for us, there is nothing going on over here but hot news for a company that is late on their financials. How late? Let's go see what we got going on over here. Oh my God. All right. They were filing 10Ks and 10Qs back in 2012. Let's see. We have a late notice here for November. There's an attorney letter. Whenever you file a disclosure for the year, you have to put in an attorney's letter as well. It doesn't mean that he's looked over the numbers, just that he's looked over the information. Semi-annual report. Well, it doesn't look like they're that far back at all. I see all sorts of things here. Quarterly report, semi-annual report, annual report. It looks like they're only late on one report. It looks like a quarterly report for September. That's it. So they're not in as hot water as I think. A lot of these companies have got 5, 6, 7 financials, and you're talking years. That's normally years of financials. They've only got what? So they get that caught up. They should have that caught up here. See, they've done it before. Late filing notice. So I don't know why they're getting hit so bloody quick here. I do believe that's everything we've got here. Yeah. So let's go take a look at the chart now. GRLT. You all with me here? Yeah, you're still with me. I wish I had just a little bit of sound. Oh, that don't look pretty. Sideways activity. All right, let's roll this back to a year. She's actually on an uptrend right now. Look at that. It tells us our low here is 0. You can't be 0. That's not a price in the market. But they say she's at 0, and her high here was 001. She actually hit that on October 2nd, jumping from 0003 to 001. So you're looking at 333% run right there before she came back down. And she stayed up there for a while. She was up at 0008 for a while. Came back down here to 0004. She's back up to 0008, bouncing around between 0006 and 0008. Now, that's not a bad profit there, folks. That's a 30% profit if you can get in at 0006 and sell at 0008. It's a small move, but it's a big gain. She is on an uptrend. You can see our 200 is climbing on the yearly chart. Our ADX is actually showing some heat down here. She says she's in a downtrend. We see which line is on the top, the red, and that trend is what's growing. Our MACD is falling. Our PPO is falling. Looks like she's going to try to go underneath that 50-day MA here on our yearly chart. 20-day, 4-hour, 6-month. We do have a nice uptrend there. She gets a nice jump up. She comes back down. Jump up, back down. So she is looking secure. She's doing what she's supposed to do. That's what stocks do, up and down like kangaroos, and she's bouncing on something, her 200. So it's really looking clean. Our oscillators are still showing down pressure right now. Every single one of them is pushing down. I would expect her to come back down to the 200. Why not? She hasn't exactly graduated up to the 50. If she gets lighter, she'll start to bounce off of these other MAs. But really, she's in a fall here. She's just bouncing off of the 200, so I'm expecting her to come back down to 0005, which would be a good entry if you get out at 0008. Coming down to our 20-day, 1 hour, she's been going sideways between that 0006 and 0008. She's down to her 200 here. She could bounce off of this. That could be her bounce zone. Again, all of our oscillators are weak. It does show down pressure, so I am expecting her maybe to come down to that 0005. Take a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. Yeah, that's not very pretty, is it? So she's going sideways, slowly trying to hang on to this 200. But look here, every single MA is now coming down. They were all above the 200 here. Every single MA was over the 200. Now they are coming under it. All of them. With the price underneath everything. That's a downtrend, folks. It's easy to tell a hot chart because all your lines are going up and the price is on top of all the lines. If the price is under all the lines and they're coming down, that's a cold, bloody chart. This thing is bloody cold. Not only is the chart lines falling, but all of our oscillators are falling too. And looking at our ADX, top line is red. Look at how hot. Lots of strength coming into that downtrend right now. So now is not a time to enter. Wait until we get that green line on top of the red one. Probably going to be 0005. All right, let me come back and see what you guys are talking about over here. I feel like I'm being left out of the conversation. Yeah, Michael Anthony. Job reported earnings with no debt. 20.8 million in cash, which closed at 21 under value. Yeah, Job. I haven't looked at Job, never looked at Job. Look at all of the tickers you guys have put in there. And we got time to look at some of these. All right, let me roll on up here. I have no idea where this all started. I guess right about here, huh? Congress is buying these stocks. There you go, folks. Gevo, FBIO, and Vizsla. They're buying those stocks for a reason. Now, remember, the Congress is as close as you get to insiders as you get to the company. They know laws. They know things that we don't know. Why do you think they get into stocks before they run? because they knew something before we did. That's why it's supposed to be illegal. And there are people being busted for it. Every now and then you hear someone who gets caught for inside trading. They knew news that they weren't supposed to buy or sell anything while knowing that news. So maybe those are going to be some hot tickers. What? Oh, I saw underdogs, no sound. I was freaking out again. Oh my God. I've done this so many times. Kashira, don't tell me that. Now let's see. Kit again. Should we look at Kit again? Well, let's see if I'm sorry. I'm looking for stocks that maybe we haven't looked at before. Vizsla. Yeah, we just looked at that. Not that we looked at it. All right. USAQ. How about this? Deadlord. Can you go over USAQ if you have time, please? Yes, sir, I can. It would be my privilege. So follow along with me as we run on over here to the OTC markets and look up USAQ. Nope, that is part of her ticker. She is not. Oh, you didn't know that? When you see a Q at the end of most tickers, it means that they are in bankruptcy. And if you see that happen to a NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange stock, they are going down to the OTC immediately. You cannot be on the major exchange in a bankruptcy. So as soon as you see that, you know where they're going. And what you'll normally see is a bounce first. And you're going to scratch your head going, if they're going to the OTC and just filed bankruptcy, why is it running? Dark catalyst. We see it a lot, folks. It's a short-lived bounce. So take it and get the heck out of it. So this is QHS Lab. She is in America. She is out of Florida, West Palm Beach. She finished today at about 26 cents. Look at this. Look at all those extra numbers behind that quarter. Why? You know, you got to bid all of these numbers. All of these numbers have to change before 25 goes to 26. Why can't they just bid pennies now? We don't need any of that silly stuff. It is up about 18% today. This is a hot penny stock on the OTC. She's on the middle tier, the QB. We like to refer to this as the better tier, better than the pinks, because this is where you start to get validated information. First off, on the QB, you've got a minimum price, 1 cent. You go under a penny for too long, they'll throw you back down to the pinks. You also must have your financials audited by a CPA. So we know we're getting actual factual numbers we can use as fundamentals to weigh the company up. So the company's got their 2 green ticks, verified profile and the transfer agent verified. So they're looking good. So what is this company? QHS Lab is a medical device company providing digital healthcare solutions and point-of-care diagnostic tests to primary care physicians. I wonder if they got their company out during COVID. We had a lot of these companies come out. Digital healthcare allows doctors to quickly and effectively assess their patients' response to healthcare screenings using advanced artificial intelligence algorithms. So let's see what we can learn here. Let's just start from one side to the other so I don't miss anything. Our relative volume is up just a wee bit today, and it's really down there. She's been doing about 16,000 shares a day. Today, she did 17,000 shares. Jeez. Now, to put things in perspective, folks, we are down here at the OTC markets where we have 12,300 companies all selling their shares. And out of all those companies, we sold 2.5 billion shares today. Now, you think that's a lot of shares. Before COVID, we were doing 60 to 70 billion shares a day, every day. We had stocks that were doing 1,000 transactions a day. You can literally come over here. You probably didn't know this, but if you come over here to current market, this is the most active stocks on the entire OTC, the hottest stocks and the coldest stocks. If you come into here under more, over here, they list the trades right there. How many trades the company has had. I have not found another page anywhere on the entire internet that tells me this information, and I consider it gold. Folks, I preached about this a year ago, big time. When you see a company doing 2,400 trades, that's a lot of people. That's a crowd of people. Compared to this one, four trades. That can't be any more than 4 people. It could be two people that did 2 trades each. So I used to come over here and just look for stocks that had a lot of trades. Of course, you want to find stocks that are gaining, which is why I came to Advancers. This one is up 36% with 230 trades. That could be 230 people. Could be 115 people. That's a heck of a lot more than 4. This one here with 2,400 trades. We used to get that all the time before COVID. Thousands of trades a day. To be honest, folks, I'm impressed. We are not getting stocks with hundreds of trades anymore. But to be honest, again, I haven't been over to this page in a very, very long time. Look, 900 trades, 3,000 trades. And you can see these are all gainers, folks. So if you want to find hot stocks through the day, come over here. These are only OTC stocks, but it's every stock on the OTC. Every single stock. You can just scroll on down. You can't put this in a list. It won't let you put trades at the top. But you can scroll down and easily see which stocks are taking the most trades. A crowd of people is where you want to trade. That's where you're going to get your price action. All right, back to what we were looking at. Sorry for the side effect, but I think you're going to appreciate that information. Keep going. Keep going. All right, right here. All right, let's see what we've got for share structure for the company. Oh, we got a decent outstanding share count of about 10.5 million. Oh, yeah. Look at that. The insiders got 7.7 million. We got about 1/3 of what they got. We got 2.8 million. So we have a super duper low float, even though the whole company's outstanding share count is in the low float category. Anything near 10 million is a legitimate low float. We've got a super duper low float. Market cap with the low amount of shares, we're at 2.3 million. Is this company making any money? Yeah, they are. It's been pretty steady over the last 3 years, about $1.5 million, and they're doing close to $700,000 in profit each year, though close to $800,000 this last year. Quarterly, they are making revenues. It was a very strong quarter in September. Looks like their strongest quarter in a year, $544,000, and they got to keep $365,000 of that. Balance sheet for the company. Money in the bank, about $95,000, $1.7 million in total assets, and a little more in liabilities, $2 million. So we're holding a little bit of stockholder deficit, $335,000. See what we have for disclosures. Ooh, we got a couple 8Ks here. One on the 16th of this month. Regulations, FDS closure. Copy of a watch list disclosed. What is this? In light of recent inquiries, the interested potential investors, I wanted to address some important questions. Our mission is to empower independence. We sell allergy test kits to physicians for $100 per test. Our immunotherapy solutions cost $500 per patient per year. These digital medicine tools and services range from $20 to $40 per patient if a doctor uses them for 50 patients a month. QHS Lab earns between $12,000 and $24,000 annually per practice. There's a lot of good information here, folks. You may want to dive into this and get some more. What's this? Altogether, a single healthcare provider using our full suite of digital medicinal tools and allergy products and services can easily generate $30,000 to $50,000 annually. When scaled across just 250 to 300 active physicians and providers, this translates to over $10 million in annual revenues for the company. So that's what they're shooting for. As you can tell, I am going hoarse. Oh, cut it out. All right, let's see what we've got for news. Let's see here. That's new news. So let's look back here, going back to April. Audited financials, enhances their leadership, strong first quarter financials, strong second quarter financials, woohoo! Announces major research and development milestone for 2024, doubling assessment completion and advancing digital medicine. Sounds good. September, the company secures a grant sponsorship from global leader in consumer health to advance digital medicine tools. They brought on Dr. Wandy Ohms. Reports record Q3 revenues. Every quarter is getting stronger. The company marks major achievements in digital health innovation research, recognition, and revenue growth, the 3 R's. And the last piece of news, which came out about 13 days ago, the company and South Dakota State University celebrate NSF invitation to submit STTR application for air guide technology. I have no idea what this is. Not a clue. NFS recognition, a testament to innovation. The company's thrilled to announce it has been invited by the prestigious National Science Foundation, that's NSF, to submit a full phase 1 application for the development of their airway instantaneous regional guided interface for drug delivery efficiency. This exclusive invitation under the NSF Small Business Technology Program underscores the transformative potential of AirGuide and highlights the significant merits of the project. So there would probably be a place to do some more due diligence, see what's going on with this SSF grant that they got, this funding. And let's see if there's any more news. I think that was the end of it. Yep, that is everything. So let us go check out this chart with a 17% gain today. Looking for another hot chart. That's what I'm always looking for. I'm always wanting a hot chart. I mean, good news with the hot chart is just a waste. I mean, that's just not. Ugh. All right, let's see. All right, I go straight to my ADX. I get that. That tells me if it's a hot chart. The first, I mean, just initial glance. So let's go back a year. USAQ. We are looking at a 1-day, 1-year chart. Her 52-week low is at 4 cents. That was back in March of this year. She just hit her high of 43 cents. That was a few days ago, 43 cents. She was under the 200 here. She made a nice run, jumping up to 36 cents, hanging around the 200. She was under it. Now she's hanging with it. Now she's starting to climb. She's floating on that 9-day MA as she is crossing everything. The 200 MA, the little MAs in the middle, and there's your 200 haul. She's gotten on top of that with it turning blue. I told you folks, the 200 haul is a friend to the price. The 200 MA don't give a heck about the price. It'll beat it down. But the 200 haul, when it's under the price in blue, will help that price to rise. Just keeps pumping hot air into it. Oscillators. PPO is climbing, loving my ADX. MACD's on the rise, and our RSI is up there at 60, pointed up. Looking good. Take a look at our 6-month, 4-hour. Some rolling around here. We don't have a 200 MA on the board. She is hanging around the 50. That's the strongest MA we got until now. Now we've got our 200 haul. Now, what you will notice, folks, each one of these MAs, moving averages, the bigger the number, the more data it has. And that data is trustworthy data. So when a new MA comes on the board with a bigger number, that's more data. The price normally goes to it. So if the price is high and a new 200 comes in, price will normally drop down to that 200 because that's true data. Up here, they're just floating around guessing where it should be. If they're under it, they'll go up to it. So we've got a 200 here. What happened? The price was right there, dipped. Now she's on top of that 200, starting to climb. She's got more data. I'm expecting the 200 MA to jump in here any moment now. Our oscillators, our PPO is flat right now. Our ADX says that the trend on the board is hot, but the trend is up, but the uptrend is cooling off right now. So she is going sideways, which is what we're talking about, ranging. When you have everything kind of in the center here, you're ranging. And I see my MACD is ranging. It's going sideways. And our RSI is at 57. 55 is lukewarm. So everything is just kind of at a midpoint right now. 20-day, 1 hour. We've got a gentle incline started here. We were down here underneath everything at 11 cents. She got up on top of that 50, on top of her 9. floating on the 9, took a bounce off the 50, back to the 9, bouncing off of our 20 now. Price is getting lighter, doesn't need a heavy MA to hold it up. Now she's bouncing off that, getting back on top of her 9. She looks like she's ready to start bouncing and climbing again. We've got a crossover imminent here. Our green line is coming up. Looks like the red is working her way down. I keep an eye on this. MACD is coming up. RSI is starting to climb. 5-day, 15-minute. It's pretty much the same thing as our hourly. You can see she's on top of her 50, bouncing on it, looking secure. It's not a hot chart, but it looks secure. She's got a nice, gentle incline growing right now. So USAQ, she's got some things going on right now. The chart's lukewarm. It's not cold. It doesn't look dangerous. And the chart looks to be heating up. So it might be worthy of putting on your watch list. However, to be completely honest, there's a lot of other charts out there that are hot right now. And I do believe that because it's the end of the year, folks, a lot of companies like to get their prices up. You might start seeing a lot of big news, hot news come out right now. Maybe an insider makes some buys just to get us excited, just buying it to get us excited. The reason they want to get their price up for the very last day of the year for market value, fair price market value. You can even do that. Instead of paying taxes on your gains and your losses, you can have the very last day, the entire stock is valued at the last price of the day. And you can have a fair market value. I got a video out there. It's tough to explain, but I explained it in the video. It is MMV, fair market value. You may want to take a look at that. This is what happens when you have your wash sales. Wash sales are when you get in and out of a stock too often, and when you took a loss and you came back in, you may have bought the stock at 10 cents the second time. You bought it the first time and took a $20 loss. They add that $20 loss to your buy-in the next time. If you got into that stock within 60 days, if you get back into it, your losses are added on. Go look at your average price. You just bought it for 10 cents. Your average price will say something like 15 cents or something like that, because they are taking your losses and adding it in. It doesn't come in at the end of the year. It comes in right now. So watch my video if I've just confused the hell out of you. The video will straighten it all out. All right, folks, I think that's about as far as I can go for time and my voice. I am losing it right now. Oh, man, I kept deadlog up all that time. Nothing personal, except everybody can't see what the heck I'm doing. See if there's any final comments here. Sorry, meant Tilray. Cannabis. Is cannabis going to get hot? I don't know. What is Trump's feelings on cannabis? Cannabis is getting hot in the world, but folks, cannabis has grown up. I got into it in 2018 when there were nothing but fields. They didn't have greenhouses. They didn't have joints. There was nothing. Now it's everything. Now it's hard to find merger deals, consolidation. All the small companies that were failing got swallowed up. There's not a whole lot going on right now. We're just waiting for the market to get real. And the only market that really is going to explode will be America. When they finally get the FDA or the DEA or whoever the hell has the right now, you do know they don't need to legalize it. We are a republic. We have the right to make something legal just by having 50% of the nation say it's okay. We don't need the government to tell us it's okay. And over 50% of the nation right now has said marijuana is legal. So by all rights, according to the 50 states, we should have it legal right now. But the federal government and the DEA are still holding it back. I don't know why. They're keeping us out of a worldwide market of exportation. They are blocking us from importation. They are blocking us from selling to each other in the states. They have forced companies to build facilities in every state that they work in. It is the stupidest thing I have ever seen. Now, Trump believes in business. He may come in here and say, tear down those walls. You know, like Reagan did to Russia or whoever it was, Germany. I don't know. Yeah. Well, if the walls come down, we're going to see this market explode because all of those companies will get tax deductions. That's killing them right now. That's going to put a lot of these companies into the black. They're going to have synergies. They're going to be able to get rid of half of their redundancies, all those extra facilities they got. You think Coca-Cola has a factory in every single state they're in? Heck no. Marijuana has to. It's stupid. All right, I've gone off on a tangent again. We can hear you. I'm going to get you, Mark. Every time I see the word here down there, I panic. You guys have no idea. I have enjoyed my time with you today, folks. If it wasn't for my voice, I would just keep going. I would, honestly. I hope you all had a great holiday. I had a pretty decent one because I had no deadlines, no videos, no charts to make up for anybody. I got to tell you, that feels good. But it also feels good sharing it with you. I'll be here next week, folks. I don't know if anybody will be with me. I'm starting to get the hang of it by myself. I'll be here Thursdays, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, every Thursday except on a holiday. And remember, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. We'll see you then. Bye, folks. Yes, I'm going to do my Home Alone face.